Okay, so 8-1 last week we went over sine, cosine, and tangent. So I'm just going to quickly review. Remember, sine of an angle was opposite of our hypotenuse. Cosine was adjacent over hypotenuse. We used A and H, right? And tangent was opposite over adjacent. And then when we had our steps, that we should take, and we gave you the SOHCAHTOA, correct? And I told you that you were not going to have notes on this test, but if I wrote SOHCAHTOA on my piece of paper, would I have everything I needed? Yes? Because so S stands for sine, and O stands for H is hypotenuse. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. And TOA, tangent, opposite over adjacent. So with that, I could do it. So we are going to use these. And on these notes, it says sine, cosine, and tangent. I am not going to be that nice on your worksheet. On your worksheet, it's going to say solve the triangle. So you have to do whatever it's asking for. Does that make sense? And you have to decide. So how you decide is by using SOHCAHTOA. What two things do I have? Do I have opposite and hypotenuse? I use sine. Do I have adjacent and opposite? Then I use tangent. If I have adjacent and hypotenuse, I use cosine. So you're going to have to look at this and decide. So should you write this on everything you do? The answer to that is yes. Okay, so we're going to start. And our directions up on the top said circle the angle and label your parts. So I have 29 degrees, and I have X is the what in relation to 29? The opposite. So I'm going to put an O. And 34 is the what? Hypotenuse. Because it's across from the right angle. So I have opposite and hypotenuse, so that means I'm going to use what? Sine. So I have the sine of 29 degrees equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. So now I'm done with my geometry. I need to do my algebra. How do I get the 34 out of the denominator?
Times it by 34.
I times at both sides by 34. So X equals 34 sine of 29. So if I don't give you on a calculator on your test, do you have the exact answer right there?
Yep.
Yes, that is the exact answer. If I tell you to the nearest tenth, then you pull out a calculator. If I don't tell you, if I say what is X, and I don't say to the nearest tenth, what do I want for my answer?
That.
Right there. Does that make sense? Okay, so I put 34 sine of 29 in my calculator. So 34 sine of 29. You all should get 16.5 degrees. Or not degrees, just 16.5. Make sure you're getting it.
Tony, I did not get that. I got negative 22.
Oh, I don't know how to run a calcium. No, sine is right there.
We got a problem? I got
Yes, it
negative
is.
22.
I think
Yes.
it's because there's
So you're just going to do exactly how I typed
an
it in.
exponent, but I can't see it.
What do you mean an exponent? There ain't nothing up there unless I'm blind as well.
I think you're blind as well, because there's an exponent. It's just
Okay.
There was no
So
exponent.
you're just going to put 34 sine of 29. Yes, see how, okay, this is a two line.
I
Because it
get
shows
negative.
you there,
That
and then it will
29
show you your
degrees.
answer. So it shows what you put in
No,
and your
that won't
answer.
change it. Wait, what?
But doesn't do
Look at her calculator. It literally just says 29. We get negative 22. We're talking.
You're not in degrees. Yeah, it's right there.
What?
You gotta hit degrees.
What do you mean?
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't need to look at degrees. You got the right answer. You're in degrees. What?
How do I get
Do you
it in
have an
degrees?
Android or an Apple?
How do you do degrees?
Go search. Do you have a calculator?
No.
You gonna use your phone?
What?
Are you gonna use your phone for homework?
Yeah.
Okay, so get out your phone.
Where's degrees at?
Okay, you can go to mode. You go to the mode right next to second and make sure you're in degree.
Normal,
What am I looking for?
flow, radiant, degree. Paramedic.
Graphic.
Radian.
Now how do you enter? Like that, okay. So now it's 34 times 29.
Did everyone get 16.5?
Oh.
Yep. I got 16.4.
Well, it should be 4.8 or something.
Crap.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it
You
How do
have
we get
it.
out of this?
So you have 34 sine of what? 29.
I could just read all of those numbers.
1 up to 8,
Bring back.
What's the six?
One, two,
You get it?
that's,
How do we get out?
make sure you do your parentheses around.
29. And enter. 16.
34.
-22.
Okay, if you're not getting the same answer, you are not in degrees. You need to go to mode and make sure you're in degrees.
Are you in degrees?
You got an answer?
So you wanna do, is this in degrees, right?
Yeah, but this calculator is different because it's not a 2-line. So you would have to go. See how I did that?
You gotta like figure the whole thing.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get, who else had the Android calculator?
I have it on
Hit enter.
set.
You get the charger?
Okay, your mode needs to be in degrees.
No, that just turns me to, I use batteries.
Okay, who else had the Android phone?
Ryan.
Brian?
I didn't have space for it.
So you don't think you should come get a calculator?
May I borrow one?
You can't use it at home.
Alright.
In here, when you're looking for it, you have to go angle.
Alright.
Okay, everyone get 16.5 now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be the last time I walk around. So you put approximately 16.5. On your paper, this is all the work I need to see. Now you could leave off these 34s, but I have to see all the rest of the work. I am done giving any credit for no work. And I've been going less and less and less, and I've been doing one. And I had a parent-teacher conference says, well, it turned it all in. Yeah, he did. And got a 1 every single assignment. Okay? All you have to do is show me your work, right? And you get full credit. Do the problem, show me your work. So show me your work. Okay, so circle 48. I have 24 is the what to 48?
Just opposite.
Opposite. Okay, it is the opposite. The hypotenuse is always across from the what? The right angle. If you struggle with that, maybe you should label your hypotenuse first. Okay? And so this over here that's not marked would be the adjacent one. So if I'm on my worksheet, I have the opposite and want the hypotenuse. So what function is opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So I have the sine of 48 degrees equals opposite, which would be 24 over x. Okay, so on the first one, the variable was in the numerator. Straightforward, just multiplied by 34, didn't I? But this one, I'm going to have to multiply both sides by x, aren't I?
Yep.
So then I would have x sine of 48 degrees equals 24.
Is that just the
But I still don't have x, do I?
Nope.
So this is x times sine of 48. So how do I undo that?
You take the sine of 48 minus 24.
No. This is multiplication. What's the opposite?
Divided by
Divided by, not the x, but
24.
no. You're going to divide 24 by sine of 48. We're not going to divide by x because you just multiplied by x. We want x equals.
That's a lot of writing it out.
So there's my answer. There's my exact answer. So my approximate answer, when you put it in a calculator,
How do you do like a?
you do
fraction?
24 divided by, because it's fraction is divided by, correct?
Yep.
Sine of 48. Now, I'm going to go back here, guys. You should have parentheses around your denominator always, because when we do an angle, it's going to mess it up if you don't do it right. So you should it should look like this. Now, did you get yours to work?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Cooper. Did you get yours to work?
Try that.
No, you need to put 24 divided by
E,
sine of 48.
I put, do I click sign or put in 48?
Oh, 48 sine, sorry. And then enter. And you should get 32.3.
Yep.
Okay. Did everyone get approximately 32.3?
Yeah. It would help if I put them in the right spots.
Yes, you have to put them in the right spots. Because if you do not, it will not work. You will get the wrong answer. Okay, so the next one, I'm looking for not a side, but a what?
Interior angle.
An angle. Okay, so I have an angle. I have, what is 7 to the angle?
Opposite.
Opposite, and 25 is the
A hypotenuse.
hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse would be sine. So what I have is sine of x equals 7 over 25. But I have a problem. I cannot put that in my calculator like that, can I?
No.
I can't say, ooh, find it for me. So when we are finding an angle, you use the inverse. Okay? So that will be inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. So this is important, guys. Important. You need to put something so you look at it, you use it.
What's an inverse?
Okay, I'm going to show you. I want to get that written down first. When finding an angle, use the what?
Inverse.
Inverse. So what you do is you write sine of x equals 7 over 25. So we need something that changes the 7 and the 25, this x's place, correct? We need something that does that. So what we have is the inverse sine.
You're bringing way too many things.
Okay?
down.
That's what it is. The inverse sine of 7 over 25 equals x. So now can we put that in our calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you find your sine button, do you notice inverse right above it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. See it?
You hit second.
And you hit second. You need to go to your, did you find yours?
No, yeah.
Okay. Look in the angle button and see. So you're going to put inverse sine, and I'll be right there if you can't find it.
1 centimeter.
Inverse, no, stop, Brian. Internalize, please. 7 divided by 25. You should get approximately 16.3 degrees. Don't forget your degree. Okay, so what do we use when we're finding an angle?
Inverse.
Inverse. Right here.
And then you
Trig.
type in the 7.
The division bar is the fraction bar, right?
Yep.
Division is a fraction. That's what it is. A fraction is division. Did everyone get 16.3?
Yes.
Approximately. Degrees.
Yeah.
Well, it should be 16.26. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so nearest tenth, unless they tell you something different, right? Okay, questions on sine before we move on. Because guess what we get to do next?
Cosine.
Cosine. Woo woo.
Everybody loves,
So this is the COA. This is COA, right?
Yep.
So cosine is Adjacent. over hypotenuse.
X over 28 is equal
Okay, so
I don't think I have that page.
everyone had all the pages. What'd you do with them?
Did you
I have the other two.
What'd you do with the other one? I guess you just get to write them.
There you go.
Okay, so we're gonna, this one again says use cosine, but am I gonna be that nice?
No.
No, I'm evil. You know it, right? Okay, so we have 32. And what other two parts do we have?
Adjacent and hypotenuse.
Adjacent is x, and the hypotenuse is 28. And guys, please label. It will make it so easy. If you put an A and an H and an O, is it going to be easy to figure it out? Should be. Okay, so if I have adjacent and hypotenuse, that means I'm going to use what?
Sine. Cosine.
Cosine, because cosine is adjacent and
Hypotenuse.
hypotenuse. So the cosine of
32.
32 degrees equals
X over 29.
x over 28. So I'm done with the geometry, now to the algebra. I multiply both sides by what? 28. So x equals 28 cosine of 32 degrees. This is our ratios that we were doing a while ago, right? Didn't we do all our cross multiplying with our ratios?
Cosine of what? 32.
Here you go. You ordered two, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so what'd you guys get?
23.7.
So x, and don't forget your approximately, because I will take off if you put equals, because this does not equal. We are rounding it, correct?
What if our approximate is like an
23, well, you better work on that. 23.7.
Let's go.
Everyone get that?
Yep.
Okay. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to make everybody use the yellow calculators, because that's, unless you have your own, because that's what you're going to have to use on the test. So, okay, the next one, I got 57, correct? And 42 is the what? Adjacent, and x is the hypotenuse. So, adjacent and hypotenuse is what function? Cosine. So, the cosine of 57 degrees equals 42 over x. So on this one, I'm going to have to multiply by what? X. So I get x cosine of 57 degrees equals 42. And then I have to divide over, don't I?
Yeah.
So I have to divide by the cosine of 57 on both sides. So x equals 42 over the cosine of 57 degrees. Now, I'm going to reiterate this again, guys. You need to practice putting parentheses in your denominator, because there will be problems it will get wrong if you don't put them there. So 42 divided by parenthesis cosine 57 parenthesis parenthesis. If you're using anything other than a calculator like Cooper is using. And you should get approximately 77.1. Is that what you got?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Is that what you got?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Questions, guys? Please ask them. How'd you do this? I don't understand that. The main thing I am looking for, guess what? Is that. But you still do need to know how to use the calculator, correct? It's a tool we need to use. Not just for 2 times 3. Okay, now we're looking for a what?
Angle.
Angle. So angle, we use what?
The inverse.
Use inverse. Write it on there. Angle, use inverse. Doesn't matter which function, you're going to use the inverse. So 12 is the what of that
Hypotenuse.
hypotenuse, and 8 is the adjacent of that angle, correct?
Yep.
So hypotenuse and adjacent is what function?
Cosine.
Cosine. So I have the cosine of x equals adjacent
Equal.
over 12. Oh, we can reduce 8 over 12, can't we?
4. So
So 2 over
3.
3. So I need to switch the 2 over 3 in the x. And how am I going to do it? With the inverse. So inverse cosine. And these are lowercase c's and s's, guys, and t's. So you need to make sure you're using lowercase. So cosine, or inverse cosine of 2/3, because we reduced, didn't we?
Equals x.
Equals x. So in my calculator, I'm going to put the inverse cosine of 2 divided by 3. Because 2/3 is the same as 2 divided by 3, isn't it?
How do you do the inverse cosine?
Trig, Brian, I was just there with you to
Yeah.
get sine. So trig and arrow down.
It just says cosine. There's like no -1.
If you hit trig and arrow down, keep arrowing down, you should find it.
Oh.
There's only 6.
I didn't realize it.
So you should get approximately,
48.
I didn't put my approximately, 48.2 degrees. Do not forget your degree. Did everyone get approximately 48.2? So the next one, we're using TOA. So TOA is what?
Opposite over adjacent.
Opposite over adjacent, so it's tangent. I want to see if you can do this one on your own. Circle your angle, label your parts. Did you all get approximately 77.6? Oh, you're not that far yet. Sorry. Did you get 43 tangent of 61?
Oh. I did cosine.
Oh. How did I know tangent besides it says use tangent?
Opposite over adjacent.
We had opposite and adjacent. Brian, did you get 77.6? Approximately, about, almost.
77.57.
So that is 77 point,
57.
nearest 10th.
57.
What's wrong, kind?
Tired.
Go to bed at night. Okay. Did everyone get that? Got 43 tangent and 61, right? Okay. Shaylee, have your calculator been nice? You figured out how to put it in? Okay. So can we move to the next one? Or have you already moved to the next one? So we have 57, we have the opposite, and we have the adjacent. So we have tangent of 57 degrees equals 48 over x. Cooper, how am I going to solve that? Bless you.
I don't know, but I know 48 is going to be in front of the tangent. Yes, it is.
I need to get the x out of the denominator, so I need to multiply over by it.
But then x.
So I get x tangent of 57 equals 48. So how do I undo multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide. So x is going to equal 48 divided by tangent of 57. So we can't any shortcut this, right? Because we're going to mess it up if we do. So Sam, what do you get? Cooper, you're supposed to be doing it too. Henry, you too.
I'll say that.
Everyone's supposed to be doing it.
Divided by.
What do you get?
I don't know. I keep getting 50.
31.17.
You keep getting what?
57.
Okay, so are you doing 48 divided by?
That's what I started with.
Okay. And then parenthesis tangent of 57 and then two parentheses. So I have 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Enter. You should get approximately 31.2.
What?
Did you get it that time?
0.17.
Shayla, did you get 31.2? Did anybody else get 31.2?
I did.
I did.
I did.
I got 31.17.
Same.
Okay, yeah.
Did you get it now, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay, Shayla, you're a one-liner. Are you one line or two? You have two? So you've been just typing it in like this, right? Try it again. 48 divided by tangent of 57. Did you put double parentheses? Did you type it in right? Sometimes we'll put in like, we'll swear we put it in right and we'll look at like, oh, I put 47 and not 48. Did you get it now? So what did you do wrong? Who knows? Okay. So we're all consensus at 31.2? Okay. So what are we looking for now?
The angle.
The angle. So what do I use for angle?
The little
Inverse.
inverse.
So inverse.
That would be tangent of x.
So tangent of x equals opposite. That's not an O. Adjacent. So 52 over 17. And then we got to switch these two, right? So I need to do inverse tangent of 52 over 17. Now, you guys have to do this one right. Wait, it wasn't that one. It was this. It was this tangent one didn't work if you did the last one if you didn't do right. Okay, so just inverse tangent of 52 divided by 17. That's it. Now, you should get approximately 71.9 degrees.
Yeah, please.
I got 73.4.
Try it again. Make sure you put 52 over 17. Make sure you use tangent.
I used the 57.
No.
What did you guys say?
71. X is approximately 71.9.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, try putting it in there again.
Let me read it.
You should have inverse tangent of 52 over 17.
Yeah, that's fine.
71 would be, right?
We forgot
I'll
your.
send you one.
Oh, that makes sense because I.
Yep, if you forget parentheses, it's going to mess it up. Yep. So that's why I'm spending a lot of time doing these problems with you guys, because we need to learn how to use the calculator just as much as doing them. Okay, so on your next page, it should be blank, right? Or, Kyan, in your case, underneath that. On the next page, I want you to draw this triangle right here. And we have this triangle. And on this triangle, this side is 2. And this side is 8. And this side is 2 square root of 17.
I can do that. There's no.
So this is angle X. And this is angle Y. Oh, I forgot to tell you this is a right triangle. And at the top of my page, I'm going to write what thing to remember.
Sakatoa.
SOHCAHTOA. So S. How do I get so? O. What's next? H. Dash. K. So C. A. H. Toa.
T.
Oh, with an
O.
A.
A. So I'm going to write that on my paper, right? So I want you guys, I'm going to write them down and you can start working on them. Give yourself some room to simplify because we're going to have to simplify. So sine of X, cosine of X, tangent of X, sine of Y. Stop that, please. Cosine of Y, tangent of Y. So find X, and sine is opposite of our hypotenuse. So put opposite of our hypotenuse. We'll simplify in a minute, but just fill in all your ratios. Then we're eventually going to find angle X and angle Y. Okay, I don't want decimals. We're not doing anything with the calculator right now. We're just putting everything in a fraction. So, did you get x's should be 8 over the square, the sine of x should be 8 over 2 square root of 17. Cosine should be 2 over 2 square root of 17. And tangent should be 8 over 4. Did you get that? Okay. So y, you should have sine of y is 2 over 2 square root of 17. Cosine of y is 8 over 2 square root of 17. And tangent is 2 over 8. Did you get that? Okay. What do you notice, guys?
They just flip.
Tangents can be simplified.
The tangents can be simplified into 4 and
Just
1/4.
1/4, right? What do you notice about the sine of x and the cosine of y?
It's the same thing.
They're the same. What do you know about the cosine of x and the sine of y?
Same.
They're the same. Sine and cosine are called cofunctions. And what do you know that the sum of x and y is? If I add x plus y, what does it have to equal? It's a right triangle, guys.
The same.
90. X plus y has to equal 90, doesn't it?
Oh.
Okay, if x and y are complementary, the sine of one will be the cosine of the other. Always. Every time. Because they're cofunctions. Just let you know that. I'm not going to test you on that or anything, but I was just going to let you know that. Okay, so I can put 2 into 8, correct?
Yep.
So I have 4 over square root of 17. Can I leave that square root of 17 there?
Yep.
No, we've done it before. We have to multiply top and bottom by what?
So it's square root of
Square root of 17. So the numerator is going to be 4 square root of 17, and the denominator is going to be what?
0.
17. Square root of 17 times square root of 17 is 17. So that could also go to the what? Cosine?
Yep.
So 4 square root of 17 over 17. Okay. So now cosine, they reduce to 1, don't you? The 2's. So I multiply the top and bottom by what? Square root of 17. So that gives me square root of 17 over what?
Square root of, I mean,
Just 17. And that goes where? Okay. Tomorrow we'll have a worksheet and you'll have more independent work tomorrow. Same stuff. We'll do the angles first thing though.